You know, you might have chocolate, vanilla, strawberry. My dad used to be a milkman, and he would carry ice cream. And like, you know, we used to get all the old milk. You know, we never got any new milk. We got the milk that was past the date. And when sometimes I'd just take a big drink of chocolate milk, you know, yummy chocolate milk, and it had big cottage cheese kernels in it. So it took me years and years and years, even as an adult, I would always, before I would drink the milk, I'd always smell it. Old habits are hard to break.
Just make sure it's good.
Yeah, remember the rules.
And
you raise your hand if you want to say something, but don't raise your hand unless I ask you to. Okay? Now, but he had ice cream, and you had maybe vanilla, chocolate, or strawberry, or if you liked all three, you get the Neapolitan, right? You know, in life, many times there's a tremendous amount of choices. But Jesus always made things really, really simple. Jesus never made things complicated if you had ears to hear. So think about what we talked about last time. You have a narrow way and a broad way. Jesus said there's two ways in this life to go. If you go the broad way, that's the way to destruction, because everybody goes that way. Because it's easy to go that way. You just do what you want to do in your life. Don't worry about what God wants from you. Don't worry about what Jesus wants from you. Just do what pleases yourself. Well, that's the broad way. And that way leads to destruction. But Jesus says, if you want to follow me, you're going to have to walk a narrow path. A narrow path. So you see, you got two. It's two. You can't make it any simpler than two choices, right? One or the other. Well, I want to give you another choice tonight that Jesus said to make. And I'm going to read to you from the Gospel of John. And Jesus was talking to some people, and he was having a discussion with them, but they weren't understanding what he was saying. You know, they just weren't, I mean, they heard what he was saying, but they just didn't understand it because they had a hard heart. You know, sometimes when your parents are correcting you or telling you that you've done something wrong and how you should do it right, sometimes you just sit there and you got this look on your face. You don't want to hear it. Now, you're hearing it with your ears, but you're not hearing it with your heart, right? And so that's the way these people were. Now listen, here's what Jesus said. He says, you can't understand my words because you cannot hear it. He didn't mean because they couldn't really hear it. He meant they weren't able to receive it. They had something in their life that was blocking them from receiving Jesus' word. And then listen what he says here. He says, you are of your father, the devil. And the desires of your father you will do. Now, can you imagine saying that to somebody? Let's say we were having an argument, and you know, when I was a kid, we used to say, well, my dad can beat your dad up. Imagine if somebody said to you, oh yeah, your dad's the devil. And that's pretty serious, isn't it? I mean, you know, your dad might not be the best dad in the world, but I don't think too many people would call him the devil. So Jesus was saying, you are of your father. That means you listen to the devil. Now, you know who the devil is.
yes.
He's the enemy of God. The devil is real. Don't let anybody ever tell you that he's not real. And you might have seen a cartoon that showed him with a little pointy tail and little horns and stuff. And he kind of seems kind of cute on the TV, on the cartoons. But believe me, he's not cute. And he has one mission, and that is to deceive you. His mission is to deceive you so that you will not follow Jesus, but you will follow him. Now you might say, I'd never follow the devil. I would never follow him.
I wouldn't.
Well, most people would say that. But the devil, he's a trickster. He tries to deceive you. And he's not going to come to you and say, hey, excuse me, I'm the devil. And I would like to take you to hell, and I don't want you following Jesus and going to heaven with him. That's not the way the devil works. He tricks you into thinking that his way is the best way. Now, Jesus goes on to say he was a murderer from the beginning. Do you know there was a murder in the beginning of time? Cain and Abel, you've heard of that one, right? Well, you know the devil was involved in that. It says, and he did not stay in the truth. Speaking about the devil. You know, the devil was in heaven with God. But the devil, he could not stay in heaven because he did not want the truth. He wanted to be worshipped like God. And so he was asked to leave. And it says, because there's no truth in him. And when he speaks a lie, he speaks of himself. For he's a liar, and he's the father of lies. Have you ever heard that one from your parents? When you tell a lie, they say to you, the devil is the father of lies. You want to be like the devil?
No.
Then don't lie. Now, listen to this. Jesus says to another group of people, you shall know the truth, and the truth will make you free. Another time Jesus said, I am the way. What do you say next? Say it. The truth and the light. You see, truth is not something that's out there like, oh, I wonder where the truth is. Truth is Jesus Christ. So you can believe that everything that Jesus says to you is true. You don't ever have to doubt it. And you can also believe that everything the devil says is a lie. Now, I want to show you something here. I brought this pitcher of water in to give you an illustration. Okay? And you may have learned this in science some, just depending on what grade you're in. But I want to tell you something. In your existence, there's truth and there's lies. You know, when you hear voices, and let's say you have a decision to make. Nobody's around, and there's maybe $1 bill on the counter. And you have a decision to make. Something in you says, hey, take $1.
No.
Nobody, I'm glad that's your answer, but nobody will ever know. Is that true? No. That's a lie, isn't it? And then there's something else that often will say, if you do that, that's wrong. You know, we hear that kind of thing goes on in us, doesn't it? Well, our world is in a conflict between truth and lies. And you've got to believe one or the other. You're going to live one or the other in this world. You're either going to walk after Jesus and walk after the truth, or you're going to walk after the devil and walk after lies.